big picture?
All right.
There it is, okay.
Wow.
Okay. AP World History, there's always a comparison question, and it is almost always on something like trade or regions. I don't know why. That's just what they like to do. So they have divided the world into their own set of regions, which is similar to what you learned back when you were in elementary school, but will probably still confuse you anyway. So they have the big picture view of how they've done this is that everything on the left side of the Atlantic are the Americas. Then Africa is its own little area. The Middle East, Turkey, becomes part of Asia. They break everything off the Ural Mountains, and everything else is Europe, which we don't care about because this is AP World and not AP Euro. And then down here in the corner you have Oceania, which is Australia, New Guinea, New Zealand, all
Is
that.
it also considered the Americas?
No.
Nope.
I went in dark though.
Nope. Yeah, ignore the colors, otherwise you're going to get really confused in this next map. To break it down a little tiny bit further, that's what they did on this one. They sort of let you know how to narrow it down. So you've got North America is up here. Latin America, including Mesoamerica and the Caribbean, are all considered to be part of South America. So technically Mexico, which normally you would think of as being as part of North America, is technically considered part of South America. All right? I don't know why. Over here, you have Africa is split into northwest, and I don't know about you when you look at North America. What is this? What country is that? Egypt is correct. If you didn't know that, you should know that. And I'm disappointed in you. But that's Egypt. Egypt is considered to be part of the Middle East, even though it's on the continent of Africa, which is always fun. I love to argue with my students about this one. Should Egypt be part of Africa or not?
No. I didn't even know Egypt was in Africa until last year.
You did. What?
Wow. I didn't know that.
Because I always considered it like Middle Eastern, like
Right.
people there were African, they were Asian.
I got into this huge argument with my mother about this over Christmas, which tells you we talk not enough in my house. Because my mother, I kept telling her, I'm like, but it's on the African continent, so thus it should be in Africa, right? When you think of Egypt, you should think Africa. It's on the African continent. She's like, but they have a Middle Eastern culture. I'm like, I don't care what their culture is. They are physically located in Africa. So, which is right. See where I'm going with this? But notice they have grouped it by culture, so you need to ignore me. Yes, question, comment, or concern?
Well, if they're going to do that, then they should include like Morocco and Tunisia and all those countries because those aren't exactly African cultures.
You are correct. Morocco is definitely not. They're Muslim, so shouldn't they be part of the Middle East? Apparently not, because they're too far away. I'm so yeah, they're physically in Africa and they're separated by other kingdoms, other countries, so I guess that makes it okay. That also means that like Dearborn, Michigan should be part of the Middle East too, because they have a huge Muslim population. I don't get it either. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I gotta teach it to you, so there you go. All right, so Central Africa, of course, includes part of West Africa. You've got Southern Africa down here, and you just gotta love East Africa, which extends all the way up until you hit Egypt. I don't get it. I do not. Africa just confuses me a lot. How they broke this one up. I kind of get it, but part of me just sits there and goes, I get it. Right. Asia is another one. You can tell here you've got the light Asia, that Central Asia. We do not talk about Russia because it's considered to be European. Even though like 80% of Russia is in Asia, we consider it to be European.
But only about 20% of the population is in Asia.
Right. It's their culture. It's a culturally based map, kinda.
What?
I told you this was gonna be hard, man. I told you this was gonna be hard. And of course, in this class, anything European, we ignore. So that's why it's white at the top, because we don't do but not a lot. Asia is of course Southeast Asia, which you gotta love that they're including what looks like, I mean,
Could be Tibet.
I don't even know.
What is that?
It's part of China. They
Looks-
whacked over
may-
what?
Maybe they included
I thought
Tibet.
China was-
It is,
Tibet's
it's
above
like that
India.
Tibetan area that they hacked off that's, you know, when we see China, that's very bizarre.
Wait, I'm
Nepal is in there and you're like, Nepal? Here's Nepal right here.
Wait, are they saying that area is part of the Middle East or?
No, so this part, this dark part here is all Southeast Asia. They ran out of dark colors, so they just started labeling them. So they figured these were far enough away that you would figure out they were different.
But Indonesia is mostly Muslim.
Yeah, they need more colors is what they
So
need.
that
But
could be
anyway, so
from
you've
the
got the Middle East here, you've got Southeast Asia here, and South Asia, which doesn't really look all that south to me, but that's okay. You'll notice it's basically the Indian subcontinent plus Pakistan. That's it. And then of course you have Oceania down here, which we don't talk about all that much. Why?
Because they're English.
Because they're English, they're European. And we don't do a whole lot of European.
Should love this.
Why is the US highlighted then? 'Cause we're English.
We do talk a teeny tiny bit about the U.S. because of the Native American population, but that's about it. Like prehistory is when I do a lot of that, and then I talk about it again when we get to like World Wars I and II, because I just really don't have a choice. They kind of show up then. You're kind of big involved in that. Yes, TJ.
In Oceania, what about the part of Papua New Guinea that's part of Indonesia? Why isn't that included in Southeast Asia?
Well, you know, I always wonder about that, and I think it's because they were trying to keep countries together. Because when I first saw this map and I asked my professor about it, he looked at me and he said they didn't necessarily make sense when they were putting the map together, but that's what kind of you have to do. They were trying to break it together. Now here's what you really need to know about this map. You do need to know these regions. You do need to know the crazy way they broke it up. And the reason why is this. In your comparison essay, they're going to ask you to compare two regions. Regions don't touch. That's my rule. Regions don't touch. Because here's what happens. This is the second essay that you would write. First one is change over time, our big theme of this whole class. And then the second essay you're going to write is the comparison essay. And if by this point your brain's starting to get a little slow, not too bad, but a little, you've already written a whole essay and you're tired. So a lot of students will go with North America and South America.
No.
Or even better, they go North America and Europe. Which gives you an automatic 0. So don't talk about Europe. So what I'm asking you guys to do, and what we're going to practice, is that when you're writing your comparison essay, you're going to compare something like Asia to South America, or South America to Africa. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Try and put an ocean between them if you possibly can. All right? And don't pick Europe for the love of whatever, small fuzzy animals. Don't do it. Don't lose your points. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Oh, I forgot to show you the vocab. Okay. A couple people were asking about vocab lists, so I put these up on the vocabulary page. Period 1, and yes, you need to know these dates. This is the date range you need to know. This is what we're doing right now in Unit 1. It's 8000 BCE before Common Era, that's the Jewish term for it, to 600 BCE.
Wait, this is on your page.
This is on my page. You can print it off, you can make note cards from it. It is yours to cherish. And it has it for every single unit on here.
I was so ready for the note cards.
So that is by period, and then I have another one that's by theme, and I didn't make this one, I'm not gonna lie. I like this one because it's words you need to know by theme, because that's the other way we're studying history. We've got 2 ways. We're looking at it by period and by theme. So here's your theme. Human and environmental interaction. Obviously there's a lot of that in Unit 1, because humans are interacting with the environment a lot in Unit 1, right? Because they're a hunter-gatherer, we have agriculture starting. When is another time when humans are really interacting a lot with the environment?
Today.
I need to see this. Jeremy, what's one? Today. Can you give me an example?
Like air pollution.
Good. Air pollution. What else? When else are we interacting with the environment? Yes.
Nuclear radiation.
Good. When else are we doing this interaction stuff? Yes. Recycling. You're all thinking very modern. Come on now. Back it up. Yes.
Deforestation.
Deforestation, also very, well, kind of modern. 1800s. Okay. Yes.
When they were building their societies.
Good. When we're building our societies, we're interacting with our environment. When we started the Industrial Revolution, we're starting our environment. When we started exploring, we're interacting with our environment. First airplane, interacting with our environment. First boat, which is probably now that we're in, but that's okay. See it?
Answer?
Did you notice? Yes! We are constantly interacting with our environment and changing it. That's one of the themes of this course. They extend. You can't put it in a happy little box. But we want it in a box. It makes our lives easier if it's in a box. Okay. That paper that I just gave you is for you to memorize. Yes, we'll be having a quiz on it on Friday. Because I love giving quizzes. Okay, just so you all are aware, this is a 2-part piece of paper you're about to get. They are not front and back because obviously that wouldn't work. So you need both halves of the map. Please make sure you get both parts of the map. All right?
Yes.
I hope, otherwise you're all gonna be very sad when you don't have 2 parts of the map. A1 was having a little trouble with that concept that they need both parts of the map. Now, I simply told A1 that they could use the computers, they could use their devices, whatever. This is on my webpage, so you can pull it up and look at it that way, or I'm also going to project it. Here's what you're going to do. On that big, giant map, I want you to label these important countries you need to know. You don't necessarily have to draw them in because I know I couldn't do that, so I'm not going to make you do it. But, wait, nobody move. But I want you to identify all of these different countries, because they are countries that you need to know, and you need to know where they are. You can color them. You can draw them in, although you don't have to. You can just label where they are. If you need a map, unfortunately there is not one in Spodek, and I'm going to guess there's probably not one in Bentley either because they're college level textbooks. You can pull up a map on your device. You can pull up a map from the computers. There are 10 laptops. They require special love and care because they don't always charge properly. There's also all of the computers in the back that work all the time. You might want to turn off the camera before you start doing it.